Alright, so I want to use manual method now to weed this place. And one advantage of using the manual method is that when the crops are small, chemicals is difficult to apply. I find it difficult to apply chemicals to control the weed without destroying the crops. But when you use manual method, you'll be able to do that. Because you won't have to spend any money buying chemicals and water that you're going to use to spray the farm. Okay? So those are the advantages of manual method of weed. Right? But there's nothing that has advantage that doesn't have its own disadvantage. Okay? So for instance, manual method in the dry season like this is stressful. You can see that as I'm working here, it's raising dust. As I'm trying to do the weeding here, I'm raising dust, and that dust can also affect somebody's health, especially those that are allergic to dust. That's a disadvantage. Apart from that, it is stressful and strenuous. It's not easy. So, manual method has its own advantage. At the same time, it has disadvantages. These are some vegetables that were planted here, and the chicken, the free roaming chicken, are eating up all the leaves. As you can see here, she's waiting for rain for it to go up here. Alright. So manual method has a lot of advantages. As you are doing manual method also, you can use that opportunity to use your hose in putting soil around your crops, like I am doing here now. You can put soil around your crop for it to have good water retaining capacity, and also to be better fits to the soil. That is advantage of the manual method of weeding. But another disadvantage of manual method is sometimes, as you are doing the weeding manually, you mistakenly cut some of the crops with your hoe. It does happen. It's a disadvantage. Yes. And when you cut it, there's nothing you can do about that. That's a disadvantage of manual method. So, but personally, I use both methods depending on the situation I have at times. I love weeding my farm regularly and the garden also. So that is about manual method of weeding. We have a second method, which is chemical. Follow along. I'm going to use chemical to spray a portion of this farm. Just watch to the end and know the benefits of using chemical for the weed control. So as we said, manual weeding has advantages and disadvantages. One other advantage of manual weeding is that after weeding the farm, you discover that the weeds are lying down on the ground. Yes, they are no longer standing. If it were chemical spraying, the weeds are still standing, though they are dead. So it will take a long time before they are lying down to leave the farmland free. Now, we want to demonstrate the second method of weeding the farmland, which is actually using chemical control. Now, after You've got your herbicide, you mix it into the knapsack, the right quantity as directed by the manufacturer. Then the next thing is to spray the farmland. So follow me as we'll be doing this now. Then we mention also some of the advantages of using chemical and some of the disadvantages. Okay? Alright? One big advantage of chemical weeding is that it gives you the opportunity to do your weeding, in a very short time. You can finish an acre of land in one day. Once you have your chemical and water and personnel that will do the spraying. You cannot do that when you are using manual method. You cannot finish as much as that in a day. Right? So that's a big advantage. Another big advantage of using chemical to spray is that you have the opportunity it takes a long time before you do another weed control of the same farmland. But if you use manual method, especially during rainy season, the weeds start to grow as soon as possible. But for chemical weeding, chemical control, the weeds, they are standing there and dying on the spot. So it takes a longer time for the weeds to regrow back on the farmland. That's another big advantage. At the same time, chemical control has its own disadvantage. One is that when the weeds are very small, that's the time you can use it. When the weeds have grown up, you find difficulties. You run into difficulties of spraying them without touching your crops. Like as we have here, the cassava has grown up. It is easy to spray the weeds under it. You can carefully spray the weeds under it without touching the crop. Now, when the crops are still small, the disadvantage is that you cannot use chemical in order not to destroy your crops yourself. So, chemical method is good when you have a plot of land like this, whereby there is no crop. You only have the weeds to control. Using chemical is very good choice at this instance. There is no crop on this piece of land, so you can easily spray the weeds and they die away without being careful of any crop. There's no crop here, so using chemical is very good at this instance. Just have a piece of land whereby we have weeds without any crops in between. So it's easy for you to control the weeds using chemical. Alright? So that's another advantage. And you can actually carry out control of a lot of farm space in a particular day. Much more than what you can do with manual method. So the advantage of chemical control is that you cover a lot of farmland in a short period of time using chemical. But another disadvantage of using chemical is the expenses. You spend a lot of money getting the chemical, the herbicides, and also getting water onto site. Because most of the farmland don't have water nearby. You need to provide water for the job. So that's another disadvantage. You have to spend money to do this. It's a disadvantage. But I use either method depending on what I am looking for. These weeds can easily be controlled using the chemical method like this. In a few days' time, you see that the weeds have died away. Even though they are still standing there, but they are dying in a very short time. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please give us a thumbs up, like and share the video. If you haven't done so, kindly subscribe to the channel. Until another time, bye bye.